Hello? Hi everyone. Am I coming through okay? Can you see me and hear me all right? Before I start rambling on about a load of stuff and realise that it's not even working. As far as I can see, all of my bars and everything are thumbs up. So hopefully it's all coming through okay. We can get chatting about stuff, get chatting about some games that are coming out this year. Although really, I'll probably say this, every anticipated thing, really, loads of the games get announced way later, don't they? Especially a lot of Euro-y things, although there's some exciting Euro-y things already announced and on the way. Hey John. Hello sir. Sound is good? Brilliant. No Marty, by the way, he's been prowling around for about an hour now, expecting his tea. It's not happening. Way too early. So then, I have made a list, as always, of my 10. Yeah, I made a list of 10 most anticipated games. It's not in any order. Getting to the 10 is enough, really. And a couple might have sneaked in there since I made the list. But hey, things get announced in January, don't they? So we'll see what happens. I'm going to get through them. And I would like, over the course of the stream and stuff, there's going to be loads of games already announced that I'm not going to mention. I'd like to know what you're excited about as well. What your most anticipated stuff is. So a little about the list. I've tried not to include anything that I have already covered that is going to come out this year. You know, like a Kickstarter that I covered at the time. So a lot of the Kickstarter videos are sponsored videos and stuff. I've try to leave those off, and I haven't put anything on that's gonna be on Kickstarter this year. I don't think. It's hopefully, if there's any Kickstarters involved, they are going to be delivering and arriving. Fingers crossed. You never know, do you? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm excited about that hopefully I'll be covering, like new Garfield games, the last in the South Tigris series, the new Call of Cthulhu, like a board game Call of Cthulhu, a new Defenders of the Realm, Cascadias in roll and write versions that I am going to be covering as well, and some things I'm really excited about that I covered in previous years, things like Fate Forged, Leviathan Wilds. The last spell I didn't cover, but I did back that. That's on here a load of times. But anyway, let's have a look. Hey Hans, how's it going? Let's get into my list then, ish, of the things I'm most excited about, that I know about at the moment. I need to go now. Now I'm finalised with my list, I can go around and look at everybody else's lists and see all of the stuff that I haven't heard about yet, because I'm sure there's plenty. So first of all, and this is, this was new to us last year. There's a few things that are kind of okay, it's re-implementations or licensed things. There always is. They're the kind of things that are announced way in advance, right? So I need to make the browser come up, don't I? Because it was spoiling something. Oh yeah, the thing to mention first. You've mentioned a load of things before other things. So something that was on the list is Imperium Horizons. Incredibly excited about that. But I have played it. I have done a playthrough for it. It went up yesterday. And yeah, it seems to be in demand. I'm not surprised because it stormed the playthrough vote, and the previous 2 games in the series were pretty amazing, weren't they? So yeah, you can check that out already. I have removed it from the most anticipated list, but it's more Imperium. If you enjoyed Imperium, there's more civs, there's errata for the existing ones, a new way that you can kind of remove some of the combat and put trade in instead, which is much more interesting to me. But yeah, maybe some of the tweaks and extra things might entice you if you weren't into Imperium, but definitely if you were into Imperium, this is a whole lot more of it. And you can see a playthrough I've done so far, I feel like there is demand and I'm keen to do some more. There's going to be at least another playthrough on the way. Maybe we'll do that live in the coming weeks. So yeah, Imperium Horizons has been taken off the list, but still had a substantial amount of chat about it, hasn't it? So something that was new to us this year, kind of from the convincing of my patrons, of people on Discord, especially Georgina, finally convinced me to give Cthulhu Death May Die a go, because I've gone on about all the other various Arkham-y things on the Fantasy Flight side of stuff. And like the big thing was not being able to get into the Kickstarter. Hey, I haven't got into this Kickstarter either. It's probably going to have to be retail like it has been for the original game. So this is a new standalone box that was an enormous Kickstarter back when I'd never played this. You can see my playthrough from last year. Really enjoyed the kind of emphasis on fast-paced action and just kind of getting under the wire and just taking big risks to, well, take down an Eldritch God, which, Arkham horror on the opposite scale is, an oppressive atmosphere and loads of things gradually encroaching on you until maybe you'll have to fight an ancient one, but it will probably kill you. It should kill you, story-wise. In Death May Die, hey, we've got Tommy guns and little girls with fireballs and stuff. We should be able to take these things down. Yeah, and I love the modular nature of it and stuff. So Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown, a whole new standalone box, and upgraded rules, which sounds interesting. Like, I don't know what's being changed about it, but like it's a whole new 2 seasons and stuff. Hopefully, it's pretty much all going to be out at retail. I've kind of got over when I bought the original boxes that I'm not getting that unspeakable box. I'm not paying £200 or whatever the current going rate is for it. I'll have to do without those characters. There's one Eldritch, one ancient one you can't get in there, and a load of heroes. There's plenty. Try and convince myself that with all of stuff, but I haven't managed it with all Kickstarter-y things. I get carried away with stuff. I'm getting better at holding back with stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to whenever this comes out, and probably setting up an eBay alert, and probably going, oh, I can't afford that. So yeah, more Fear of the Unknown. Hey Joel, how's it going? So what's next? Oh yeah, something I think has been by now discussed a billion times, but I'm very excited for Wyrmspan. I absolutely loved Wingspan. I covered it when was it? When did it come out? Was it 2019 or something? Why are you guessing? You don't know. It was a year. It was the very beginning of the year. It was 2019. Hey, I'm pleased with memory for a change. So just a retheming of some more Wingspan with dragons would have been good enough for me, but a re-implementation, adding new different bits about there's bits with habitats and stuff, right, where we're making cave, we're excavating. Yeah, here we go. You start with 3 excavated spaces on your board, and you've got to excavate more things and entice dragons to come and live there. And it is designed by, obviously it's taking the inspiration and framework and stuff from Wingspan, but it is designed by Connie Vogelman, who was the designer of Apiary, an absolutely fantastic game from last year. Just missed out on my top 10. I think it was like 12 or something there, but a pretty amazing space bee worker placement game, worker bumping game. It was so good. So yes, after that, I'm pretty much on board for Stonemaier doing stuff anyway. But yeah, even more excited having played Apiary now. So yeah, Wyrmspan surely is going to be great, right? What's next? Back into the realm of Kickstarter-y things. No, it is kind of a license thing, but it's a fictional license thing, isn't it? That has kind of expanded and gone on so long that it is its own thing. In that the Sentinels of the Multiverse is it started, right, I'm not just wrong about this completely, am I? It started as just an entirely fictional comic, just making up these characters and things, and it has gone through so many iterations and spin-offs, and they've taken the lore and stuff of it so seriously that it is just basically its own huge world at this point, which I'm very keen on. I love Sentinels of the Multiverse, but I am very, very excited about, and it'll be interesting. I purposely didn't go back because I'm pretty sure I talked about this last year because it's been heavily delayed, but I wonder if it's just going to be word for word what I said last time. So yeah, I love the world and look, of course, just the comic book look of Sentinels of the Multiverse, but what if some very experienced kind of adventure game designers took it onto that kind of co-op strategy game? There's villains, there are things kicking off all over the city that we're playing on. We're playing as these heroes, and we need to put out these various fires and try to solve the big overarching thing that's going on. I think it's a re-implementation, right, of or uses some things from Defenders of the Realm, which I've never tried myself. I'm pretty keen on trying, and it's going to have a big Kickstarter later this year of its own, right? So I thought at this point, Like, there's so many expansions and hard to get things for it. I thought, oh, let's give up trying to get a copy of that, and we'll wait until the new version comes out. Although it could be completely different for all I know. So yes, we're trying to defeat the big villain and defend the city from them. And yeah, it comes with a ton of... There's not really many pictures on this, I don't think. A lot of the pictures have been in the Kickstarter updates. Maybe I should have got the Kickstarter page up. But yeah, playing as the various heroes with your minis and your own separate ability. Actually, you know, a lot of what's so good about Sentinels of the Multiverse, the card game. But I really like the idea of, you know, Richard Launius, who, like, between them designed a billion things, but Richard Launius of Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, I know all of the other games he's designed, but and Adam and Brady Sadler from, I forget what their series was called, but, you know, Brick City and what was the medieval one called? Was it Altar Quest? Right? I never played Street Masters, but they were designers for Fantasy Flight as well, and did all of that stuff that you just saw, Warhammer Quest, and worked on Descent and all that stuff. Altar Quest, yes, that's what it's called. I really enjoyed them as well. But yeah, them teaming up on something would be great. I really like the idea of getting a big kind of adventure-y, like, I like the idea of getting one of these great big long boxes of a board game as well. I realise, like, at this point, yeah, people, like with loads of Kickstarters, people have got fed up of it. Like, I don't know when the original Kickstarter was at this point. I was a late backer, probably about, I don't know, 6 months after the Kickstarter finished. And even at that point, it's been a long time since then. But yeah, I guess, like, I'm in a bit of a, it just says release date on this. I'm kind of in a privileged position anyway, where the thing that I do here means that I'm playing games all the time. And as much as I'm excited about stuff, I'm not, like, kind of annoyed when stuff gets delayed, because, hey, I've got all of this stuff that I should be getting on with anyway. But yeah, it seems like there have been a few extra hiccups in the last month or so, but pretty much everything's finalised. Pretty much production is underway, and is, you know, the Chinese New Year is going to happen and delay everything as it delays all of the Kickstarters. It's just a standard thing, right, with production. But yeah, soon it's going to be, like, what did they say, last April, May? So I'm just thinking, if it gets here this year, wonderful. I'm super excited about it. Are you a backer as well? Yeah, I think, like, yeah, things go wrong, and, like, there's been, like, rather than the production happening, like the manufacturing happening over, like, COVID and stuff, it was, like, all of the kind of coordination of the people making it, I think, as well, and, like, people have come and gone from the company. The company, you know, Arcane Wonders, has changed a lot in the last couple of years as well. There's been a lot, but, you know, I believe, like, I've got faith in pretty much, like, well, anything that I've backed, really. I've luckily not been stung, I don't think, by something that never delivered. Sometimes it took ages, and sometimes other companies had to come in to finish things off. But hey, I believe that they always tried. I know there's horror stories around there of you know, companies asking for money later, or just, you know, running off entirely. But yeah, I think the Arcane one is, like, they're keeping up at the moment with, like, monthly updates and stuff. I think they're trying, and I think it's nearly there. It's going to be great, right? Hopefully, this year is the one, right? We're going to be seeing a playthrough this year. It's going to be great. Right, what is next? I can't see the titles of this. Yeah, surely, like, I don't know what's exclusive about it either, like, Kickstarter-y wise. Like, I think the Pledge Manager might still be open. It was a couple of weeks ago, because, like, it was another thing of, okay, seeing it's open, just check everything's on there. And had in the past, like, over the course of all of this massive delay as well, they've ended up getting more money off me, because I've been like, maybe I should get the expansion. Maybe I should get this thing instead. Yeah. I've fallen into all of that, but it's hopefully going to be great. And if not, hopefully people are going to be very excited about getting my copy. But I've got faith that it's going to be fantastic. Next up, so cities. This is one of the newer things that I saw pop up. And I can't, like, a lot of these anticipate things, I can't really tell you that much about them, because they might be ages away. There's not really that much information about anything. There's not even information about mechanisms here. But, so Devere, a great Euroread publisher anyway, so always worth a look when they're putting something out. But the designers of Cities a city building game, would you believe, are Phil Walker Harding of a billion games at this point. But, that trilogy of Joey games that I did last year, Pass the Party Food and Sushi Go most famously, like millions and millions of things. And also, you could say the same about Steve Finn, most notably Biblios, but Cosmic Run. There's a few that I've just got that will be coming up on the channel, actually. Fisheries of Gloucester, Mining Colony, loads and loads of stuff together. Imhotep, I didn't play that one. Barrow Park. Between them, what I'm trying to say is they have done so many exciting games. Like, a lot of them on the kind of, like, Steve Finn, Rod always called him, right? Probably still does. The King of the Filler. Yeah, it's found out about Biblios and a billion other things, of course, through Rodo back in the day. And it was an excellent discovery, because I think it's always worth trying either of the games as well. But yeah, all we really know at this point, so you play over 8 rounds, you are trying to build the best city, you are collecting scoring cards and stuff. It sounds great, but yeah, there's not too much to know just yet. It's a bit empty over here, but I think I'm logged in on this browser now. I think I can subscribe, and I'll find out about any more posts about it. So cities. Next up, we have got, well, Inventions. Pretty much, if Vital Lacerda does something, a lovely new heavy Euro, I want to be there. I am scared by that weight. I haven't watched any of the videos for it at the time, but yeah, any big deluxe Ian O'Toole Vital Lacerda collaboration, I am up for trying it. It was like I had a little chat with Vital at GridCon. His demos were chock-a-block, fully booked for Inventions. What was the weight of On Mars? That's even higher than On Mars, right? I know it's early days, so like, it's about the same. It's a little bit heavier. So I say On Mars is like just over my, I can't handle this limit. So yeah, it looks like a very involved Euro from Vital, but as with most of Vital's game, well, heavily invested in the Hello, am I back? I don't know what happened there. Just got a little message saying the stream is disconnected. Hopefully you haven't missed too much. Did you see me say stuff about Inventions? I hope so. Let me know if you didn't, and I'll circle back to it if that whole little bit got cut off. But hopefully that was just a little blip, because I saw it come up. Yes, Mythwind. We talked about it in the unboxing I did of it. It arrived a little bit too late to be in like this month's kind of circle of playthroughs and votes and stuff. But this is as I said, yeah, a cozy co-op board game where like it draws, like it says, like its inspiration is things like video games like Stardew Valley. The goal is kind of set by you guys. It's not really like there's no hard and fast win condition. It's about progression. It's about, building up your characters, building up the town, but you just play through seasons. You can pack it away at the end of a season. You can carry on. Everyone has got characters that behave quite differently. Like there's a ranger that wants to go out on expeditions and hunt for various things. There's a farmer that's got like a polyomino laying game, which we've got some pictures on Board Game Geek here. Like these spaces here, everyone's got lovely game trays for stuff. This is like the farmer's field over here that they place crops in, and the polyomino pieces flip over when they have grown enough and stuff, and then they're trying to sell that stuff and upgrade and get sprinklers and all of that kind of thing. There's the merchant who's doing some wheeling and dealing, and we'll have rival merchants to deal with. I think there's an expansion that adds a couple of extra roles to it. I haven't got that at the moment. I think there's an innkeeper and something. Oh, there's a crafter as well in the base box. But yeah, there's an expansion with a couple more things to it. I haven't got that. I've got the base game here, but very, very excited to dig into it. I'm wondering if, like, we're going to have a vote, by the way. February's vote, I always try and have it like right at the start of the month. It's probably going to be next Wednesday. It'd normally be on a Tuesday, but there's a couple of playthroughs going up on Tuesday, so it's shifting a little bit. Mythwind is going to be on that vote. I'm hoping it storms the vote, and I'm wondering whether to just get right into it and do a live stream or something of it, of just kind of the exploration, because it says for your first game maybe like even if you multiplayer, just everyone just play the farmer and just everyone get used to this, and then add more characters to it and stuff, because you're all doing different kind of you're playing the game together, and there is a core rulebook, but everyone has got their own rulebooks saying how their character plays and what they should be doing. So yeah, Mythwind coming up. I'm very excited about it. Next up, Daitoshi, another game that I don't know that much about, but well, we know a bit about the setting and stuff. Devere again, but also designer Danny Garcia, who last year did the amazing Barcelona, another one that like I did it so much. It was in my top 15 somewhere. I think it just missed out on the top 10 again, just like A Period, but also did Arborea last year. I haven't played a final version of, but I did a video for the Kickstarter and thought it was amazing. Yes, I am very tuned into anything that Danny Garcia is doing. In fact, get that subscribed. Not been subscribing to Threads lately. He's also doing another game with Board and Dice, not Wind and Dice for Board Mill Valley. Board and Dice for Windmill Valley, which is going to be a lighter, quicker game, which I'm very excited about as well. But Daitoshi, another kind of involved Euro-y game, but like Barcelona was that kind of crunchy, thoughtful puzzle, but I thought it was very engaging and, well, a lot of games are engaging, but like accessible, like easy to get into quite a complex thing. But yeah, and I think it's kind of tied into, I haven't played these games, but it's tied into like the setting of things like Silk and Bitoku and stuff. I feel like I need to play Bitoku. I keep missing out on it, I think. There's just a little bit of a blip. That's good because I've been going on for ages now since that. Yeah, I think like, yeah, I would have noticed it flash up, I think. I think I saw it as soon as it happened, pretty much. So next up, I should be closing these tabs as I talk about the thing, so I know that that's gone. But I think I was going to leave them open, so I'll make a list later. Next, we have got Civolution, so a new game from Stefan Feld. Even though like there are potentially, depending on how quick the deliveries are of stuff, there's a few Stefan Felds coming out this year. And hey, you can see my playthrough for Kathmandu next week, and Paul Grogan has just well, it's just arrived actually, the prototype for Nassau, so I'll be playing that at some point. I don't know about it yet, but I'll be watching Paul's video. But yeah, another game that Stefan Feld is doing for Deep Print Games is Stefan Feld's take on a big Civilization game, which again, like I know these are like their user ratings, right? And not that many people can have played it yet. But that's a scary, that's a scary high complexity of stuff. Like, it's just because it's like highlighted in orange as well. They're like, oh, I'm a bit worried about that. But yeah, hopefully, like I wouldn't imagine with Stefan Feld that we're all going to be kind of cutthroat fighting each other. I imagine there'll be like competition and stuff involved. But yeah, I'm always keen for Civilization games that don't lean into the full 4Xs. There's an X I'm not interested in it at all. I'm like main range, I'm not interested in fighting each other over anything at all ever. So inevitably games like that don't really work for us. But I've got high hopes for Mr. Feld, as like he's got a pretty successful list of games at this point. I was trying to think of the word CV then, I think, and I couldn't. Yeah, Divi did like White Castle last year. Did they do something else last year that I'm forgetting? Yeah, they do great productions. They know what they're doing. Next up, it is. I've got to have this so small. Slay the Spire, the board game, which another like it's a licensed thing. I am torn between like I'm so excited about this because I imagine like a lot of Slay the Spire players have sunk countless, I imagine hundreds of hours into Slay the Spire, especially in its various forms. I bought it way back when on Steam. I got it for the Switch at some point. It turned up on Apple Arcade, I think, last year. So that was the most dangerous little obsession last year of like, oh, just waiting for something to be done on the quick. Oh, I'll just have a quick Slay the Spire. Oh, just out and about. Oh, quick Slay the Spire. There's never a quick Slay the Spire. It's such an amazing deck building game that really harnesses the kind of calculations and morphs and things that a video game can provide. So, initially when it was first announced, a bit wary of, well, how do you translate that into just a card game? Is it going to be like just an analog of what we... I imagine not. Like, I don't think you could just copy and paste it, and I don't think people would do that. And it's cooperative as well, so like another big plus, like Slay the Spire as a video game is a solo-only experience. And I think it's worth mentioning that after those hundreds and hundreds of hours, I'm pretty rubbish at it. Like, I feel like I should be a lot better at it, given how long I've played. I've done Ascensions and stuff. I think the Silent, I've done Ascension 20 on. It took a lot of trying. The others, I don't think I'm anywhere near still. But yeah, I love the art style. I love the gameplay of the video game, and I really hope that this it translates well into a co-op cardboard version, because that would be amazing. It would be my favourite thing. Right, what else? Oh, Rock Hard 1977. This is the other thing that's kind of... Oh no, there are a few things actually that have just kind of snuck up out of nowhere that I just saw in the last couple of weeks, I think. So this is designed by Jackie Fox, who is one of the members of The Runaways. Like, so first-hand experience of what this game is about. A band starting out, rehearsing, playing gigs and getting a record deal and become the most famous rock star of 1977. So it is simulating through like a worker placement game, I think. The startings of a famous band, signing their record deals and earning their chops and stuff. And I really like there's not that much out about it at the moment, but I really like the player boards are lovely. Amps, of course, they've got to go to 11, but yeah, really think that could, like, whenever I've been asked in the past on things like what do I want to see, like what themes would I like to see more in board games, one of them is like music, especially like this, of being a band or being a musician and going on a career. Like the thrash and roll, like it's not really metal music and stuff that I'm into, but aside from that, I really like the idea of doing dice placement to make these records, and we go up the charts and stuff. It didn't fully work for various reasons for us, but yeah, I love things like that, and I wish there was more like it. And yeah, and another one, hey, the 3 mentions for Devere. It looks like it's going to be a pretty amazing year for them publishing stuff. I wonder if they're putting out more than this. Hey, probably. But yeah, it might as well be just the top 10 Devere things coming out this year. So yeah, very excited for that. Next up, I can't remember now if I've gone over 10. It was meant to be 10, and then, as I say, things got added at the very last minute like that. And I wasn't willing to bump any of these things off. Another kind of huge Kickstarter-y thing that I've not been involved in, but I'm sure I'm going to be very, very tempted to pull the trigger on when it comes out. Chip Theory Games of Cloud Spire, of like other things as well, but of Too Many Bones, taking on a great big adventure game, but this time in the world of the Elder Scrolls, which has, like, at this point, a vast amount of lore and theme to sink their teeth into. Like, they pretty much, like, I haven't played like Burn Cycle and 20 Strong and stuff, but just based on Cloud Spire and expansions and Too Many Bones and expansions, they know exactly what they're doing. I'm always expecting like a top quality, fantastic thing from them. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to how they take on like, yeah, that kind of adventuring and progression in the Elder Scrolls and making it co-op as well. That Kenichi keeping it sexy game. I didn't play that, but that was wasn't that from Prospero Hall, who did the Bob Ross Art of Chill game? Yes, it was the same company as well, Big G Creative, I think. Yeah, I think like I haven't really got, apart from kind of, I'm sure he's been in films and stuff. There's a reference, like I don't really know Kenichi, but yeah, it felt like that kind of thing of doing the Bob Ross Art of Chill game. All for it. I think like I meant to read up more on it. Hasn't something bad happened with like Prospero Hall kind of like a part of Funko Games and they've let everyone go or something? What's all that about? Like, Prospero Hall amazing, and Funko Games were releasing all of this amazing stuff last year. They did like new Disney animated and the Indiana Jones Sands of Adventure and stuff. It seemed like, oh, they're doing this great big push and putting out all of this amazing stuff, and companies for you. Like, I hope I'm wrong on that and I've got half a story and that there's some optimism to that, but yeah, it sounded terrible. I just reminded myself about that now. Oh. I went all in on Elder Scrolls. I think, yeah, it's something I'm going to be very excited about. Have a quick sip of my drink. Parent company thing. Yeah. That's kind of... that's business, right? It's run by people who aren't creative, who don't understand, or say don't understand, but more importantly, do not care about any kind of creativity. Couldn't really care less if anything that they make is good or not. Will it make money? I was really looking forward, like, maybe other stuff will come out. I really hope that the designers involved in all of that stuff, like, find work somewhere else. I'm sure, like, given the work that they've done, I'm sure that they will. But yeah, it was looking so good last year that I'm really looking forward to more games along this line. Even just more Disney animated, the same thing, but put more films in it. Like, really looking forward to that. And Rachel's really into Disney animated as well. She's really into Sands of Adventure as well. But yes, Elder Scrolls. I think I talked about it and then got distracted. I don't know what led me onto that. But then, oh, that's expansions. We're not there yet. We've got one more thing I want to talk about. Marvel United, Multiverse, which is another thing that has kind of come around in the last month or so. Like, I bought Marvel United. Did I talk about this at a stream recently? I think it was an unrelated stream that I ended up going on about it on. I bought Marvel United, I want to say about 2 years ago or something. There was some deal on Amazon.com for like a bundle of the game and a couple of expansions and a little Doctor Strange box. And it was so cheap that I thought, like, oh, well, this doesn't really seem like it's for me, but it might be. It seems like it might be a cool, really light game. I'll give it a go. And if I don't like it, it's barely cost anything. I'm sure that someone would want it. And it's basically sat at the back of a shelf for all of that time until such a point where a gaming night called for specifically something light, and I thought, well, maybe it's time for Marvel United then. And we cracked it open, like, I'm pretty sure it was about a month ago. And since then, January has been dominated by another Marvel thing, coincidentally, but yeah, we've played loads of Marvel United since then. I've bought more of it. We've found like an online campaign generator thing that you can play, like, not like a big story, but a loosely connected thing where you add in heroes to your roster and stuff. I think it is such a fantastic co-op game, and like in its basic form, especially like the original box, so simple to get into. Like, that's what I was always worried about. That, like, I'd kind of just skim read a few things about it early on and thought, like, oh, that seems cool. Is it going to be too light though? I wonder if like there's going to be enough here. Definitely, you can bump up the difficulty as well so that there's more of a challenge, and definitely as it gets into even the expansions from the base game, but especially a load of the X-Men stuff and the new Spider-Geddon thing, there's some really, really tricky villains, but at the same time some really cool heroes and stuff. And it's so exciting, like pulling out a new hero and seeing like a lovely thematic thing that they do. Like, I love being Nightcrawler and being forced to just teleport constantly, no matter what your plans were. Hey, it's great. Anyway, what's this then? So another Kickstarter that passed me by in a time when, yeah, I knew what this was and thought, oh, no, well, I don't know if I like it. Yeah, I'm not going to go all in on this. I'm so in on it. Like, bits are going to come out in retail, aren't they? And unfortunately, with it being Cool Mini or not, it's their thing. Like, at this point, I know the deal. Like, same as Cthulhu Death May Die, that's CMON as well, isn't it? If you don't back their Kickstarters, there is going to be a huge amount of stuff you're missing out on here. But yeah, I am. It's kind of weird with like all the promo boxes and stuff. There's all this laundry list of heroes, and a good chunk of them. But there's a load of people that are like, oh well, I don't know anything about them, and a load of people that it would be really cool to have. Someone's made like a little bio list somewhere that kind of collects all of the bits together of all the characters that are going to be in there. But things like Captain Captain Britain that's the Betsy Braddock version, and Scream. There's a couple more heroes, Scream and Hobgoblin. I'm thinking like, oh, you could do like a little campaign run that's basically the Universal, the Islands of Adventure Spider-Man ride. Like if they're just missing Hydro Man. Yeah, it's basically more. It adds more stuff as well. It was like equipment, which is in the Spider-Geddon standalone game, which is like a cool little extra thing that certain characters get these equipment cards that they can activate for a special power, and then if they do a thing that's a bit detrimental to them in the future, they can reactivate that equipment card. So that's going to be included. And there's like team cards, I think, where it will enhance, because I think some of the earlier heroes at this point are a bit underpowered perhaps, and there's like team cards and those equipment cards are going to enhance them somehow. Yeah, I realise it's a little bit shaky knowledge from me, but yeah, I'm trying not to look at too much about a thing that I can't back. There's pets that you can have in it. Another thing that I'll probably look out for on eBay and just cry at the price that everything ends up as. I am going through all the villains and heroes from Marvel United Series 1 and starting to work through Series 2. Like, we are, like, that campaign, the only downside is that you can't check the things that you've got or not. So things do come up. Like, I've got a lot of the X-Men stuff at this point. There's some stuff I have, like, hopefully, if a deal goes through, I might have got the bits that I'm missing from the Series 1. But, yeah, it's a good thing for... We have to skip over bits where it's like, hey, fight this person, or add this person to your roster that we just don't have. But it's that campaign bit's been great for... It's part of the point of why the person made it, is that it encourages you to go through all of the stuff, rather than just sticking to being Nightcrawler or a version of Spider-Man all the time, which I'm pretty guilty of doing in things. Branch out and do other things. And partly, like, I'll say that the other thing is Legendary as well. That we have, like, I've played a ton of games in January, like more than in a long time, but a lot of those plays have been on a couple of things. I've played, like, a good chunk of games, as I always do, as I always must, to keep doing this. But yeah, a lot of the month, especially between me and Rach, has been dominated by us playing Marvel United and Legendary, which we used to be obsessed with, like, early on in gaming. Like, I'd say up to, definitely while I was doing the channel, because I did at least one playthrough for it, I think. At a certain point, we got fed up of it, and I don't think it's even in my top 50. I think we'd gotten rid of it by then. So it's been many years of not having it and not playing it. I wish I had all those expansions that I sold and are now worth a fortune. Oh, I love Legendary so much. It's kind of led back onto... I haven't read comics for 10 years or something. It's been a long, long time. But yeah, I've got a Marvel Unlimited subscription now. I've been reading loads of X-Men. Current X-Men. Well, I say current. I think I'm in 2021. I've been catching up from a big thing that happened in 2019. I've been loving it. Why am I in expansions? Like, in files. Oh yeah, like the extras look so cool. There's like an enormous. There's going to be like an enormous Galactus and stuff in there for season 3. I was looking for someone made. I understand what we're spending like an inordinate amount of time on Marvel United, but I need to like bookmark this or download it somewhere. Like, someone made a great like compilation of. Is it this? Ride the Lightning. If it's you, I love your file. Yeah, it is. Because it's like, not only just, hey, list of all of these people that I'm kind of like, do I know those people? Like, it's also like, oh, I'm sure loads of these are going to be in Kickstarter boxes I'm not going to end up having. But, and like, there's a nice, like, a load of crossover and stuff. There's a campaign map. Hey, Dom. That lets you unlock characters and villains. I wonder if that's what we're playing. Like, if I get my other browser up here, let's see, Marvel United campaign. Because I know there's a few different ones, and I haven't tried any. You made it, Dom. Well, I'm definitely going to give that a go then. I thought it would jump out at my my search. There's a website that I'm using. Ooh, let's get this on the main browser. Sorry, character list. Is this it? Dom. I love to look at this. Ooh. I mean, I love a tech tree. So print out a huge map, unlocking heroes and defeating villains through choices and challenges. The content from both games and expansions. Sorry, forget about the top games of 2024. Let's talk about Marvel United for a while now. Ooh. I'll have to give this a go as well. Right, that's staying on here. I will show this to Rach afterwards. That's a good thing as well. Like, a load of, like, I love all of the Euro-y things that I'm doing and the stuff that I've always done. But, like, I don't know, probably for most of the time. Like, Rach has loved plenty of Euros, and she'd still count things like Trajan as, like, her favourite games of all time. But definitely when it gets into, like, your Visa, like a lot of the heavier things that end up on my lists, Rach has... There's a... Rach likes a lighter game, and... yeah, too much time was spent with games that Rach didn't end up liking. So a lot of those I just play solo now. And it's been great finding, like, things that we can absolutely, like, just love and rinse, basically. Like, I know it's not, like, tons of time, because mainly we play on weekends, but I think we've played this about 20 times. We played Legendary about 30-odd times. That's just in January. Oh, that looks dead cool. Oh, I haven't got Infinity Gauntlet. I can't get that. Well, I could if I was willing to pay. I think there's one on eBay for £120. I'm not willing to pay that, but I wish I was. I wish I was able and willing to pay that. But yeah, what was I so excited about? But like, hey, I know some of these people are. That's what's been so good about. That's partly why. I'll tell you what happened. I bought a Marvel Unlimited. There was like a deal, I think, and I don't understand how it's so cheap. It's like $50 for a year, and you can read like 60 years worth of comics. But that's by the by. I think I googled like, hey, where's a good jumping in point? Because I usually just start reading Spider-Man, which I am doing, but someone said like Hickman run of X-Men, and so I've read a ton of X-Men comics in the last month, and it's been good at seeing, hey, all of these people that are in that X-Men box, and hey, I know who Aurora is now. Aurora's popped up loads in X-Factor. Black Bolt, Black Knight. Just trying to see, like, there's some people that are like, oh, I want, like, Betsy Braddock, Captain Britain. That's from the, hey, she's the main thing in Excalibur that I've been reading. There's a load of things like that. Oh, okay, some of them it's like, oh, they popped up in the film, but I'm a bit behind on Marvel films and stuff. I did really want to see the Marvels, and I missed it. And people seem to be mad about it, and I don't know why. But hey, I really enjoyed Captain Marvel. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel, and is it One Division, the other thing that ties in? I really liked all of those things. Hey, Corsair was in it a bit. I realised that this is it's Cypher. I want Cypher. We've got Warlock in there. I want Cypher in there as well. I'll stop talking about it. Right, Marvel United. There's going to be videos. Maybe we'll have to do like a campaign playthrough and stuff. Because I thought, like, I think what I'm going to do first, at least, is like Spider-Geddon is the newest standalone box, and it might not be as easy to get into as like the very original Marvel United, but I thought that would probably be a good jumping on point. And it isn't out here yet. There's a lot of stuff like for this Spider-Geddon. I think it's been out in America since about October. Like, you can get it off Amazon.com if you're in the UK and wondering and willing to pay a bit extra for postage. You can get it. And if you really love Spider-Man things, like I do, then you might be willing to do it. It's got a great big penny poker, and it's so good. But yeah, I'm probably going to do a play, just like a kind of basic playthrough, because I've never done anything for it before, with Spider-Geddon stuff. And then, yeah, maybe you could do like a campaign thingy. That would be good. Oh, it finally came out in December. Okay, well, that's not too long, though. I'm thinking longer, because there's still, like... It's been weird looking at Legendary things as well, and, like, the last thing I think that came out is Midnight Suns, but it came out... You can only get it on Amazon. All of the board game sites here say pre-order. So I don't really know what's happening. There's usually a bit of lag time between things coming out. For American companies, it usually takes a while for it to come over here, doesn't it? So, other stuff. I will get... we'll have a special Marvel United stream, right? We'll do some live streams of games of it and just browse through things then. But I'm really excited. Yes, Scream and Hobgoblin, which admittedly, well, Scream at least, I only really know from that ride, but Rachel and I have been on that Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man ride a million times and still love it. It's so good. Let's talk expansions. So I've talked about all of the games, like full release things, but there are a few expansions. This is going to be a million over the course of the year, isn't there? There's a few expansions that I am particularly excited about that we should talk about. And Marvel United, it's a nice bridge, isn't it? Because it's a standalone thing. It's kind of an expansion of all of the other stuff that I've got. I have been painting so much as well. I've painted about 70 things in January. All Marvel United. I've been really enjoying it. Some of them lately have been really hard to do and annoying. I painted Onslaught. It was a lot more difficult than I thought. I thought, big chunky guy, that's going to be really easy to do. It wasn't. Right. Arkham Horror, the card game. It's finally time for another one. Hey, it's been like a year and a bit since Scarlet Keys. When was that? Was that like November 22, I think? So Hemlock Vale has been pushed back a bit. I think the Investigator expansion was supposed to be with us now. I need to check who actually. Someone in my Discord's got this. And I don't know where and why and how did you get it. But yeah, I'm prepared for the fact that, hey, I'm probably going to have to wait a month like everyone else. Like it's the 2 more weeks. Isn't it? The Investigator expansion is going to be halfway through February, right? And then the campaign expansion is going to be at the end of February, I think. So hopefully all of the amazing boffins on Arkham DB that make these really interesting and cool and fantastic decks. Hey, I'd love to get into it and do it myself, but I don't think I'm ever going to do that and be a cool deck builder. I like taking your ideas and playing through them and marveling at how clever the game and you are. But yes, it's like, so not only, hey, a load of new investigators and like returning investigators that haven't been in things for ages and ages. Like, is George in it? Is George Barnaby in it? The farmhand is, right? I forget their names of the things that are going to be in this. Where's the... I bet it's not going to tell me, like, the investigator set, is it? Because this is the campaign. Is it going to be like Scarlet Keys or more like previous campaigns? I hope like Scarlet Keys. I haven't played every Arkham Horror thing. We have played, like, it's at this point, it's one of our most played games ever. Partly because, you know, campaigns have so many different chapters in it. But, yeah, I've obviously played the original and Dunwich, nearly finished Path to Carcosa for the first time, if the playthrough series goes well. And then what have we done? Like Innsmouth, Edge of the Earth, Scarlet Keys. So like the more newer ones. And yeah, I can understand people getting fed up with the amount of text and all of that stuff in things like the Scarlet Keys, but I loved it. Like, I suppose going back, if you went straight back to it and did it again, like, I think at this point, we would have forgotten most of that stuff that happened, and you'd go down a different path anyway. But even if we did Edge of the Earth, and a lot of that text was the same, but there's a lot of things that can change in that. I really enjoy what they've done since they've been able to have, you know, the box as a complete thing, instead of having to think of the game as it's coming out in parts, and we have to split it in certain ways. I've really enjoyed this new stuff. And going back, I love things like, I love a lot of stuff about the Path to Carcosa. What's that, like that's the second big expansion they did, right? The second big campaign. Like, I love a load of stuff that it does about theme-wise, about making you unsure of your own sanity and stuff, like your character unsure of their own sanity and if any of this is really happening or not, and the kind of meta stuff of if you go down a certain path, if you say the King in Yellow's name, that I'm trying to train myself to, the game tricked me one of the times. It's not going to happen again. But yeah, I like that kind of stuff about it, but there is some stuff mechanically in encounter cards in these older sets that reminds me why I used to really dislike the card game. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is just like, no, spend 2 actions to do this. The straight jacket, lose all of the stuff that you have equipped and take 2 turns to take this off. It might be thematic, but like, we're trying to play a game. Like, there's enough in the bag that's going to ruin our day. There's enough in the encounter deck just from monsters and tests and things. Never mind, like, unavoidable stuff that's by the by. I'm very much looking forward to the new stuff. I do want to go back and see all of that other stuff as well. I have it all. And we're going to get to it one day. It's just like, I think at the moment, it's been a bit kind of sporadic with our gaming group when it meets, and I'm hoping that Hemlock Vale is going to be an ongoing thing, as Scarlet Keys was, pretty much right after that came out. But yeah, we've only had one, I think, in January at the moment. Hopefully, February's going to be better. Do we play? There's a big heart in front of what's what you say after the word play. I assume it might be Arkham. The Circle Undone. I haven't played that yet, but I'm looking forward to it. It sounds cool. The only thing that I think reading things is maybe a bit aware of is Dream Eaters, because it's like two separate campaigns overlapping where you have to play two sets of investigators, or you can just play like two separate half campaigns, right? Are they the only ones that I need to do? Dream Eaters and Circle Undone? They might be. I think there's some standalones we haven't done as well. But yeah, Hemlock Vale, like it looks like a spooky kind of cult destination. Like, I'm really looking forward to that as a theme and as a setting, and as I said, with the recent expansions as well. Yeah, I'm very much on board with the way they've been doing things. Did you Forgotten Age? Oh yeah, Forgotten Age. I have tried, like, I'm sure we tried it when it came out, which we did with Carcosa as well, and Dunwich. Like, I think, like, I was pretty on board with Dunwich, I think. I used to really, like, I think partly because as well, we were using default decks, or maybe when the cards were more limited and less interesting, there were a lot of conversion factors, and the autofail and stuff. I used to really dislike the card game. So, like, Forgotten Age is the only one where I have played it, and I think I've done, like, I feel like a decent chunk, 3 or 4 scenarios in it. I think I tried one. Did I try one solo? I tried one, me and Rach playing it, and yeah, had a very bad time. Like, I don't think quite died, but kind of gave up at the point, like, Karis is going to die in a bit. Like, we're at the point where we can barely do anything in a scenario and not having fun. I think some people, Forgotten Age is like their favourite, right? I really dislike I suppose at a certain point you know the game and you know what you should be looking for, but I really hate hey, pick this equipment. No, we're not going to tell you anything. Just pick some equipment. And then later on, oh, you didn't pick this. There's going to be some bad stuff because you didn't pick this. Should have known. I really don't like that stuff. Like, later on, I suppose, you would know all of that stuff and you can kind of reverse engineer it, right, to just pick stuff so that that's not so horrible. Like we kind of stumbled upon this. Spoilers, I suppose, for Path to Carcosa. Is it like 10 years old at this point? I don't think so, because the card game's only 2016, isn't it? It's a lot of years. So minor spoiler. I haven't got to the end yet, so don't spoil me if this changes. But there's like a choice you can make quite early on in the campaign that I suppose thematically your characters might not want to do. Where it's like, you go to this party and the game is very keen on, this might all be happening in your head, but the game offers you a choice after this thing that's basically, hey, you can go back in there if you want, now they're all turned into monsters, or you can just toddle off, or you can lock the door and set fire to the house with them all in it. Which, you know, like, as I say, story-wise, that's a cool, like, uncertain thing. From a, like, mechanic's perspective, Rach, like, me and Rach did a little series of Carcosa, and we did die in scenario 4, and unfortunately something went wrong with Rach's mic that, like, ruined the whole thing. It was really gutting because we'd done it together and stuff, but Rach was Mark Harrigan, and it really made sense in that moment that given Mark's past, he would definitely choose to lock all of them in and not risk losing someone again, not risk evil getting out again. So it really made sense for that to happen from a story perspective. And then later on through the campaign, all that we've seen, and I made that choice in the solo campaign, kind of using a bit of foreknowledge of the gameplay. The scenarios later on are constantly like, hey, if you didn't kill this person, they now come back as a big scary monster and are going to cause problems for you. I hope there'll be some kind of comeuppance towards the end, because, hey, you killed a load of people that they might not have been monsters, although it seems like they were definitely monsters. So far, there has only been an upside from, like, the subsequent scenarios. There's only been an upside from killing all of those people, which sounds horrible, laying it all out like that, but yeah, there has. Like, every time it's said, hey, spawn this big monster, well, sorry, they're already dead. Wait a minute, why is Streamlabs deleting all of your message, Yogi Bear? I thought they disappeared from my screen here, but it says on my YouTube view here that it's deleted all of your messages. Why is it doing that? Forgotten Age is your favourite official campaign. I'm going to give it another chance at some point, not right now. And maybe we need to like put it in the channel and stuff. Why has Streamlabs done that? Yeah, maybe it's but like Streamlabs is supposed to come in and say, hey, you're doing a bad thing. It's putting it back on now. You're appearing now. I've seen your message now, though. There's no, like, tell Streamlabs to not do that. Because Streamlabs behave. Let people talk. Yeah, maybe 4 emojis is its limit. I don't know. But yeah, I know some people really love it. I do need to give it another chance, but it has just caused fury in the past. But as I say, like, maybe, like, the first time we played Carcosa, which is probably a while ago now, probably like 18 months ago, the first time we played it in this, like, iteration of having it, we died, we got further than I thought. I think we got to, like, scenario 5 or something. We weren't dying, but trauma was headed that way, and we were having such a tough time, and I think we'd failed a good chunk of those scenarios and had, like, the bad out. You can still carry on, but hey, you're doing rubbish at this kind of thing, because we'd picked, I can't remember who we were, but we both ended up, and I don't know why we did this, we both ended up very investigaty, which, hey, if there's going to be a load of monsters coming out, is not a great thing to do. Usually we've come up with a good balance. I think we've learned since then. Hey, have a good balance in your team, which is always good, isn't it? But yes, there's a new Arkham. We need to just deep dive and just have a chat about certain things. As with Marvel United, could do a great big one about Arkham Horror the card game and Arkham Horror as a whole. I realise I do want to do more of these series. I'd love to cover all of the things on the channel at this point, but what was I going to say then? Oh yeah, like doing any kind of ongoing series, like, understandably, it just happens. People drop off, like, along the way. Nobody, like, well, not nobody, but a very small percentage of people that watch that first episode will watch the last episode, even if it's just, like, a 3-part series. So a campaign of Arkham where it's, like, 8 parts, it's a bit of a huge thing, and it ends up being, like, 2 months of one of the playthroughs every week. So I'm kind of aware, like, we'll leave it a while until, like, another one. But having said that, Hemlock Vale's coming out, and I want to do a video for that. Maybe it will be coming back sooner than I think. I wanted to do an Eldritch Horror one because people keep asking, and it's been, like, 6 months, I think, since I did one. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't want to spam the channel for people that aren't fussed at all about Arkham-related things. I don't want to spam the channel with it. I try to spread everything out, like, so there's a nice mix of everything. But yeah, there's more Arkham Horror coming. That's the tab for the Marvel campaign that I need to keep open. Heat, Heavy Rain. We've been on about this. Like, hey, ever since it came out and we saw those empty spaces in the insert for more cars, here it is. I think, like, there's just one new driver, so that's confirmed at least another expansion, right? More maps, more upgrade cards. I I'm not really bothered. I'm just like, whatever it comes with, give me more heat, give me more, not campaigns, what am I thinking of? Tournaments, races? Give me more of heat to play, please. This is going to be amazing. I absolutely loved Heat, I think. Like, using my special categorization to make it a game of 2023, which it was. It's one of my top 10. Absolutely love it. Solo and as a multiplayer experience. And yeah, can't wait for more of it. I mean, yeah, look at all of this stuff. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, oh, there's a lot of, like, sequel-y things or re-implementations or licensed things. But so what? There's such good stuff coming up. And there's only going to be more announced throughout the year. But, like, I thought that when I come on and do my video about, like, 2023, about there's so many good games this year, it was so hard to narrow it down. I think this is such a fantastic year for games. And then see some threads or see a clip of a video just being like, oh, it's such an average year or such a bad year. I can't relate. I'm not getting involved because I'm clearly on another planet. Hey, board games are great, right? Sentinels in the Multiverse. We went on about this with Freedom 5. I know that I have a... It's not sealed, but it's unplayed. I bought Rook City Renegades when it came out last year, which is probably getting on for a year ago now, and I have not played it. I want to, a lot. I was thinking about it the other day, actually, but I ended up doing a bit more painting instead, because I kind of like... I know I'm a very kind of obsessive or fixated person, and I know that at some point soon I'll get fed up with the painting and not do it for a bit. And I want to try and... I don't know if I'll finish doing Molly Knight, because that's a lot of figures, especially if I get more of them. But, heck, it's great looking back at the non-grey things for now. What do I know about Disparation? Absolutely nothing. I know that I didn't back the Kickstarter for it, so I'm probably not going to find the shiny foil cards and things for it. But just more and more stuff for Sentinels. I would like... I was thinking about this when I was looking through Rook City the other day. I know they do like a great job of, just with a cardboard insert, having all the space for your various hero cards and villains. It comes with dividers. Why can't more games do that? Like, such a great thing that all that organisation's built in. As much as I have loved printing, twice this month I have printed hundreds of dividers for Legendary, and Rach has done a lot of cutting and stuff because she's a lot better and a lot more accurate at that than me. As much as I love doing that and organising things, I love it when games come with solutions for that as well. But I would like I don't know that Disparation is this. I imagine it isn't going to be. But I would like one of them to be, you know, a bigger box that's just got space for rows of cards in it. To just like, hey, I don't want to keep all of these separate boxes. As lovely as they are, as lovely as the art is, I haven't got space for a full shelf full of Sentinels things as the years go on. I would like they did for the original, didn't they? When we had a lot of stuff for the original, and we got fed up with that at a certain point. I think it used to be fiddlier. I don't think we ever played it enough to make a proper comparison with the definitive edition. But then later on, they did that beautiful like thing with drawers that I've seen people have. That's like a complete storage solution for everything. Maybe they're thinking of something like that for the end of it. But I'd like just like a box that's just a bit bigger that'll fit like 3 rows of cards or something in it. That would be really cool. So yeah, more Sentinels is on the way. More Nusfjord is on the way, although it's not really more, is it? But it kind of is for me, because so the big box collects like Nusfjord. I think it adds wooden coins to it. It came with metal coins in one of the expansions. The expansion I have has metal coins, and Nusfjord is such a fantastic Euro. One of Uwe Rosenberg's best things. Place. I think I've got play. Oh, it's got new expansions. I thought it was just collecting the other ones. I think I've got the place deck. I think the salmon deck is the one that I missed out on at the time, and I don't think they pressed that many of them. So, like, by the time I realised, oh, I never picked that up, it was like 100 quid on eBay, and that's not happening. I thought, well, it's going to come in print one day. Hey, it's coming back in this big box, and it feels like, despite having, you know, promos and the original game and the first expansion, I probably need to just get this. There's the salmon deck that I'm missing, and 2 new expansions, along with extra components, among them new guest meeples. And not that many, that just looks like original Nusfjord. So not that much about it just yet. But yeah, I'm definitely getting on that. The full Nusfjord experience. It's such a great game. And then finally, I think this is the last thing I'm talking about, which is a bit kind of, I feel like timeline-wise, they did a Kickstarter update the other day that was like, it's going to be a bit delayed, but like we're looking at like, was it early summer or something like that, late spring? Heck, this year would be great. I think that I have backed on Kickstarter an expansion for a game that I still haven't played, but I was really excited about the stuff that I saw there, and I'm very excited about the idea of Vagrantsong still. Like, boss battler in that kind of, what style is it? Like, old cartoon? Like, it's not like Disney. I don't really know how to put it. If there's like a representative picture, do you know what I mean? That, well, clearly, they did that. Is it like Townsfolk Tussle or something that's like that kind of old cartoony look as well? That's kind of like a skirmishy game. But yeah, I love the look of it. I love the kind of, well, like small, for a, not a dungeon crawler, but for a big multi-character, multi-boss battling game, for it to be in such a small box and like, hey, we haven't got minis, but we've got these beautiful acrylic standees. I don't mind standees anyway. But yeah, packing it all into that little box and having like a nice campaign going over. I've since read things that like, oh, the campaign wasn't the best. There isn't that much progression over it. Maybe gets a bit old towards the end. A lot of campaigns do get a bit old towards the end. But yes, I, rather than thinking, am I ever going to play this game and maybe I should... I've been in that stage at a certain point. I think I've had Vagrantsong for about 18 months or maybe longer, and it's just never happened. But at a certain point being like, oh, maybe I need to just give this up and sell it. Am I ever going to get time for it? To flipping straight for, hey, I'm going to back the Kickstarter for the expansion and some extra scenarios and stuff. It's more scenarios, really, isn't it? More than anything. I'm very much looking forward to it, and looking forward to hopefully it giving me the push to just finally play Vagrantsong, because hopefully I'll love it. Like, there's more stuff, like there's a 1.2, is it now, coming out for Medora that like, it's faded a little bit now, probably because of all the Marvel United and Legendary play. But yeah, a few weeks ago I was really keen on, I'd really like to just dig Medora out and start playing that again. But I know that we'd start again, because it's been so long since we last played, and we'd play for ages and ages and get to the end of chapter 1 and have to put it away for something else, and it would get put away for several years again, because that has happened twice now with Medora. I love it to bits, but it just, yeah, we just haven't got the time for these massive campaign things, he says as he gets really excited about playing a Marvel United campaign. That's been one of the great things about Marvel United, that like a game of it takes like half an hour or something, especially like 2-player, that we can get through like quite a lot of sessions of it. We're not speeding through it, but hey, we're like, oh well, that was really quick. We got time to play another one of this. Also, a lot of time that happens with Legendary as well, thankfully. That's what's kind of boosted their numbers. So there we go. Some kind of chat and stuff about various 2024 things, plus an extended solo about Marvel United stuff, which we'll be seeing more of soon, I hope. I thought I was going to get something done in January for it, but January seems to have just... Well, it's February now, isn't it? January's just kind of whizzed by, as a lot of time tends to do. But yeah, there's going to be stuff coming up. I know that Sleeping Gods Distant Skies came second in the vote. I am hoping that that's going to be coming up on Patreon next week. I am hoping that Skyrim the Adventure Game is going to be coming soon as well. And then there will be a vote next week, and we will see what will come up, what will be learned next in February, because I think there's going to be streams of, like, maybe there'll be... I feel like there's going to be demand for some more Imperium, right? So we're going to be seeing some more Imperium Horizons stuff. Maybe that'll be live. There was demand in the comments, and if it's still ongoing, for more Voidfall after the playthrough that I did. I don't know if I would do that live, because I would be scared of how long it would end up taking. But yeah, maybe there'll be another recorded one. Maybe it will be live. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, there's the new stuff as well. There's Mythwind. I've got the Grand Austria Hotel rolling right. We'll talk about all of that on Wednesday. All of the stuff that's coming up. There's so much good stuff happening. Let me know about all of the games that I've forgotten to mention here. Like an expanded campaign for Marvel United Season 3 also. Oh, so like plug into this so the map gets even bigger. I just want to get this, like, I want to get, like, the, we got a pin, when we played Detective, the Portal Detective game for the first time, we went out and bought a pin board and, like, put up all of the, like, pictures that it came with and put strings between them and wrote it all on. I feel like we need to devote like part of the living room wall to just this massive Marvel United thing. So I think Rach might be up for that. I should add something printed as well. I'm sure there's someone that's there's a printer that you can just send like A2 stuff to. So now that would go through the A4 trimmer that we've got. Hey Neil, how's it going? You have late to party. You have to watch it back. Yes, there's been some great stuff discussed. It was mainly about the games of 2024. There may be big chunks of talking about Marvel United. There may be big chunks of talking about Arkham Horror, but other games were mentioned as well. I really want to go and play Sentinels of the Multiverse now. There is stuff everywhere though. I'm in the middle of something. It's not just like all the paint's all over the table downstairs. It's like there's a load of craft stuff involved. I mentioned dividers. There's a whole new system coming in. There's a new legendary box coming. There's a big shake-up going on. Might have a bit of an addiction to organising things. And then in the cases of some stuff, not playing it enough to justify the amount of money and time that was spent organising the thing. But I have things just come round in swings. Like I haven't played Marvel Champions for about a year. Since I did the playthroughs for Storm and Wolverine, which were like some of the most recent expansions at that time. I think I've got is it Gambit and Rogue? Yes, it's Gambit and Rogue, because they're just over here on the floor. They've been there for about a year. And Mojo Mania, that had been the last thing that came out. So I haven't played it for about a year and thought I'll try and avoid, you're not going to have time, so don't buy all the expansions. But now I've been reading all this X-Men stuff and playing all the Marvel United and Legendary, and the expansion last year was X-Force. I want to be Cable. I want to be Domino. Yeah, it's there's a big order just on the horizon that I'm trying to resist. But yeah, the living room table is just piled high with paints that it's portable enough that I can kind of put it on the sofa while we play Marvel United. But yeah, it needs a more permanent home, which I don't think it can really find in this house. And you're running several of your underplayed heroes through all of the villains. I need to do that as well. I'm glad that we're doing it with United, and we just we put Legendary into a randomizer and just say do whatever. And then I tend to do we've seen them a lot. Let's refresh them. So I've been keeping track on Legendary as well to try and be well, let's play people that we haven't seen before. As much as I want it to be all of the Spider-Verse against Venom or someone or have the villains be the Sinister Six. Let's try and see all of this stuff that we've bought for a change. But yeah, I need to do something like that with Marvel Champions, because I'm sure the not just the amount of stuff that I bought for it, but all those dividers and organising it and that, and it's not in sleeves because that would take. I think I just sleeve the hero that I'm playing, because that would be too many and it would take up too much space. But yeah, all those tokens and stuff that I bought for it, I really love Marvel Champions. It's just there's not time for all of this stuff. It's sometimes really hard when you're organising. I think that as well. So much time gets put into this stuff, but I really do. I used to really like stuff like that as a kid as well. Collecting Beanos and things and picking up a load from a comic book sale and organising them. Probably never reading them all, but I do really like organising stuff. Sorting out. I think I got Legendary. I bought it from someone at the Expo actually, and didn't play it until January, and it the drive for it was seeing there was quite a cheap thing on eBay for expansions I knew were quite rare, and it had these mystery bags in it that might have been more expansions. Unfortunately, they were things that I already had, but yeah, getting a big load of unsorted cards in the old long boxes and just being I get to sort all this out and print dividers for it and see what goes where. Yeah, that's why I like getting this new box and see, you did all of this stuff and it's got horizontal dividers and now you need to do vertical dividers. I only just did them. So that's really annoying, but at the same time, it means you get to organise for a little bit longer. It does put off the playing. The painting and the organising eats into the playing time, but in some way, in a different way, it's very, very satisfying doing the organising side of it as well, isn't it? It's lovely opening, there's some wooden boxes things. Some games they've got loads, I have to do a video sometimes, because they're all downstairs rather than in here. but certain games that have got just like a ridiculous number of cards. Marvel Champions is all in like a great big wooden box. Arkham Horror expanded beyond the box that I had for it, and it's in these kind of drawers that fit in a Kallax. They're really cool. They're all from, is it Customized Gaming on Etsy? They make great wooden things. They fit in Kallaxes as well, which is, I think, what my house is made of at this point. I'd like to change them in this room. That like it's all Kallaxes behind me, which you can't see because we're in space in this video. But I think like for a load of the stuff I've got up here, it would probably be better if it was just bookcases, which like you can fit. You can adjust bookcases more to fit stuff in your shelves, can't you? But it looks so nice having Kallaxes in that. Right, I should go and do other things, probably clear all of that stuff away so we can have dinner and that. Thank you, everyone, for being here and having a chat. If you're watching this later, let me know some of the games that you're excited about this year. I'm sure there's some amazing things that I am forgetting or haven't even heard about yet. Let me know how you're getting on with stuff, and let me know about what you think about what was going on in your Marvel United stroke Legendary. Stroke Sentinels the Multiverse, actually. Like, I feel like even all the playing that we did however many years ago of the definitive edition of Sentinels the Multiverse, we probably didn't play everything in there. I wish there's so many games that are just like, yeah, let's just do a month of just that. I think that would annoy too many people, but like if the channel just turned into Marvel Champions for a month. But hey, maybe we'll have like an ongoing thing. I did mean when I did those Storm and Wolverine playthroughs, I thought that was going to be like an ongoing thing, and just stuff got in the way. We'll see though. I want to do all of it, and there's never enough time to do any of it, really, comparatively. Tainted Grail, is that like that's like a sequel, right? Tainted Grail? There's going to be so much this year. It's going to be so good, isn't it? And luckily, like, we'll get to see some of it, at least. There'll be playthroughs for some of these things. I'd like to say all of them will get a playthrough, but who knows what's going to actually end up delivering, what I'm going to be able to get hold of, how much people are going to ask extortionately on eBay for the Kickstarter things that have been mentioned. Some stuff like Cthulhu Death May Die, I've made my peace with. We'll just sit with the retail stuff for that. But Marvel United, there are so many people in those promo boxes. And key people as well, like the Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler in a promo box that I can't just go to a shop and buy. They know what they're doing, don't they? So in one way, it's like, how can you leave these people out? But from a business point of view, you're like, yeah, well, you've got me. I've spent money on that thing. I haven't spent money on you doing that thing because I couldn't buy it from Simon. But yeah, someone on Facebook or eBay or something got some money for that promo box because it sounded so cool. I keep going on about Marvel United, don't I? We'll have to do a video for it at some point, and I can just blather about that for ages. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and having a chat and that. I will be back soon with stuff this week. I'll be back on Sunday with the next episode of The Path to Carcosa. I think it's episode 6 going up on YouTube, and episode 7 will be on Patreon. So getting close to the end. Spoilers, I suppose, for the fact that 7 exists. Ursula didn't get devoured or anything in episode 6, but you don't know what actually happened. Just because they made it to the next scenario doesn't mean they made it in one piece. And yeah, next week there's going to be loads of stuff. Kathmandu, Trailblazer the Arizona Trail. There's going to be the new playthrough vote and a little stream for that, the stuff that's coming up next month. And then more Arkham-y stuff, I think. So much stuff happening. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'll see you for all of that stuff. And yeah, have a lovely weekend of gaming, I hope. See you soon. Bye, bye, bye.